guys, I'm NunjB02.
Hey guys, I'm Cossack B03.
So today we're going to talk about the LCO from AMO, which is a very unique looking red dot. So this is Cossack's red dot, and he's going to talk about his experience with it. Take it away.
Okay, so this is made by AMO, which makes, I think, one of the best replica sites on the market.
Yeah.
They make replicas from Aimpoint, Trigicon, EOTech, most brands they cover. And this is their replica for the Leopold LCO. Now, I think this is an interesting site. The real steel counterpart has an interesting history, which translated into the Airsoft version. So this came out about 4 years ago, I think, and it's a part of a 2 Optic pack that Leopold sells. They have this one, which is the LCO. Then they have the other one, which is this Z-shaped fixed magnification. I think it's 3.5 times magnified optic. And the point is, you have the magnified optic sitting behind this one, which makes like a periscope shaped thing with prisms. And this one sits in front of it, and it's slightly higher. So the other one's objective sits right about at this height, and this one sits just above it. So when you alternate between 3.5 and 1:1, you just look up or down, and it's by far the most ergonomic, the best way to switch between power levels. The price point when they came out, I think, was the main reason why they didn't sell that well, and they didn't get much exposition. As a red dot, this is when it came out. I think it was $1,200 US. So that made it a very expensive red dot sight. The 3.5 magnification, the Evo Leopold Optic, that one was over $2,000 or $2,500, which is just crazy. And because of that, they didn't become that well known in the sight world. And then because Airsoft basically gets everything from the real, or most of it, products and so on, from the real steel world, I think it also suffered because of that, because the sites weren't that well known to begin with. So the Airsoft versions, same thing. As a replica, it's not the most cheap one out there, but it is really well built. We're going to talk about the construction, how it's built, and so on.
So I'm more used to EOTechs and T1 type replicas, but this one from AMO seems really nice. It has this metal body, feels really sturdy. Here on this side you have the power level button, so you press the button and the red dot or green dot, it has the two, will light up. To turn it off, you just press it for a time and it goes off. It has 8 power levels in green and in red, so you won't have any problem seeing it in daylight, which is awesome. It takes a CR123 battery, it goes over here. Then your adjustments are here in windage and elevation. And the great thing about this one is really the side picture. So you look through it and you really just see what's in front. You don't even notice the sides whatsoever. So I think it's a really nice upgrade from the EOTech type, and it looks very futuristic. It's very unique looking, and that's great. Sometimes we get caught up on EOTechs and all of those mainstream stuff.
Sure looks different.
And it's a bit different. To attach it on the rail, you just turn this knob over here to attach it. Nothing too fancy. So it's really great. I think it's a very nice option if you want something different.
Yeah, so I basically used this sight for maybe 6 months before I broke it. This is actually a friend of mine's. I've been using it as my second red dot for games and so on, because my first one broke, and that's going to be one of the cons. I'll get there, but first the pros. So like Carlos was saying, by far, in my opinion, and I think he's going to agree with me to a certain degree, by far the best sight picture on the market. As far as these types of red dots go, nothing beats it. I don't know if you ever got that feeling, but when you're using an EOTech and you notice you have like the outer casing, the protective outer layer of metal. I've wondered many times what it would be like to take that out, basically that protective shell, and just run with the inner housing. This is basically that. It's the thinnest frame. It is machined aluminum, so it's not gonna break or chip or dent, nothing like that. But it's the thinnest frame around a very large optic, which gives you the most unobstructed sight picture I've ever seen on a red dot. Other than those tiny reflex sights with a little window in front, I think this is the second best thing out there. So that's the biggest pro, I think.
So, and because of that housing, that really great sight picture, a con for us airsofters is really how do you protect the front glass?
Exactly.
As he said, he broke his, so it's going to be like a challenge. You may have to do some type of custom work with some, I don't know, tape or some
you
type
need
of
to be creative, some bricolage work.
So that's a big con with this type of sight. And the other one, it's the price maybe. It's not the cheapest replica. It goes around 70 to 80 euros.
Yeah, when they came out, they were 79 euro in most stores in Europe and here in Portugal, in our country. These days, you can get them for maybe 70, 75. So they're just a bit cheaper, but not that cheap. Another downside is the price. You can get T1s, T2s that basically dominate the market along with EOTechs. You can get those for 50, 55 euros these days, and this one is still close to 80. So you have that to take into consideration. Another downside I find with it is, so we've been over how exposed the glass is. I've been doing this for 10 years, and this is honestly the first sight I ever break while playing. I don't know if it was the glass that's too thin, or if it's just because it's too exposed. You don't have any aftermarket protection, like he very well said. You don't have any aftermarket protection systems for this thing, so the glass is just sitting there. Another downside I found is because of the back being so exposed as well, you don't have anything covering it from light. It's just really reflective. If you're playing with this in broad daylight, you'll see yourself, especially if you're aiming towards a bright source of light like the sun. You're gonna see your eye, you're gonna see your face, you're gonna see yourself, and what's to your back when you look at this. Nighttime games or indoors, not so much of a problem, but outdoors, the dot is very bright. All AMO replicas have really, really bright dots. We've been through that before in other reviews from their products. But even like that, in some EOTech replicas, I also find that happens. In broad daylight, even with the dot all the way to the max brightness setting, it just reflects so much of your face and what's behind you. Sometimes it's really distracting. Also, the anodizing color they chose, it's not like a real tan color. When you see it in broad daylight, with these interior lights, it's maybe hard to catch on camera, but in broad daylight, this is more of a copper pinkish hue than a real tan color, like some brands get on their anodizing on aluminum. I don't know how much that might be a factor for you, but just take that into consideration. Might not be the same tone as maybe the other accessories you have on your gun. To me, that's not really a problem, but to some it might be.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Another thing that it doesn't have is the trades. Some guys like that. The trades it doesn't have.
Loophole.
Yeah, doesn't say it. But it's a nice sight. It performs well. It retains zero, which is important.
Yeah.
The dot is bright. You can see it in daylight. So if you're looking for something unique, something different, you want to go away from those EOTechs and T1s, it's a great option. And AMO, of course, got it right once again.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So I think that's it.
Yeah, guys. Thanks for everything.
Okay.
Thanks for watching.
Guys, thanks for watching. There will be more reviews. So bye. See you next time.
Bye.